As I slept and dreamed again, I saw Christian and Hopeful going down the mountain along the way that leads to the celestial city. At the foot of the mountain is the country of Conceit, which is connected to the way by a little crooked path. Here, the pilgrims met a lively young man named Ignorance. "Where have you come from?" Christian asked. "And where are you going?" "Sir," Ignorance answered, "I am going to the celestial city." "But how can that be, since you have not entered this way through the gate? Why do you expect to be allowed in at the celestial city?" "Because I am a good man. I treat others well. I pray. I fast. I pay tithes. And I give money to the poor." "But you haven't entered in at the gate. You came down that crooked path. And so whatever you may think of yourself, you will not be allowed in at the celestial city." "Gentlemen, I did not ask for your advice. You follow your religion, and I will follow mine, and everything will turn out all right. And as for the gate which you spoke of, it is much too far from my country. I can't think of anyone in Conceit who even knows how to get there." Then Christian said to Hopeful, "There is more hope for a fool than for this man. Shall we walk further with him, or leave him to think about what we have just said?" And Hopeful answered, "It is not good to try and tell him everything at once. Let us leave him for now and talk to him again later. Perhaps we can help him little by little." As they walked on, two shining ones greeted them and said, "You have only 2 more difficulties to meet with, and then you will be in the city." Now between the pilgrims and the city was a river. There was no bridge to go over, and the river was very deep. The shining one said, "You must go through it or you cannot reach the city." Then the pilgrims, especially Christian, began to despair. They looked this way and that, but there was no way to get around the river. Christian asked, "Is the river deep all the way across?" "No," the shining ones told him. "The strength of your faith makes it shallow or deep." So they stepped into the water, and Christian began immediately to sink. "Hopeful," he said, "I'm sinking in deep water. The billows go over my head. All the waves go over me." "Be brave, my brother. I feel the bottom. It is solid." "No, the sorrows of death are around me. I shall not see the land that flows with milk and honey." Hopeful tried hard to keep Christian's head above water. "These troubles are only sent to try your faith," he said. "Be of good cheer. Jesus Christ makes you whole." "Oh, I see him again. He tells me, 'When you pass through the river, I will be with you.'" Christian soon found solid ground on which to stand, and the rest of the river was very shallow. And so they crossed over. The 2 shining ones were waiting to lead them onward. Although the celestial city was on top of a mighty mountain, the pilgrims went up with ease, because the shining ones just carried them through the air. "You are going to the paradise of God," they said. "You will eat of the tree of life. You will be given white robes, and every day you will talk with the King. Never again will you have sorrow or sickness or trouble, for the old things are passed away." "And what must we do in this holy place?" Christian asked. "You must receive the comfort of all your toil," they told him, "and you must have joy for all your sorrow. You must wear crowns of gold and enjoy the sight of God. You must continually praise him with shouting and thanksgiving. At last, they reached the gate of the celestial city. Looking down from the top of the gate were Enoch, Moses, and Elijah. The Shining Ones called up to them, "These pilgrims have come from the city of destruction out of love for our king." Then Christian and Hopeful handed over their scrolls, and the king commanded that the gate be opened for them. Now I saw in my dream that as Christian and Hopeful walked through the gate, they were given clothing that shone like gold. They were also given harps and crowns. I heard all the city bells begin to ring, and it was said to them, "Enter into the joy of your Lord." Now, just as the gates were opened, I looked in, and behold, the city shone like the sun. The streets were paved with gold, and on them walked men with crowns and palms and golden harps. There were also some that had wings, and they cried to one another, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord." And when I had seen that, they shut the gate. While I was standing there, I turned and saw Ignorance coming up to the river. He crossed over without half the difficulty Christian and Hopeful had, because a man named Vain Hope took him across in a boat. There were no Shining Ones waiting for Ignorance, and so he had to climb the mountain alone. When he finally reached the gate, the men who looked down from the top said, "Show us your scroll." He fumbled around in his pocket for a moment, but could not find one. "Don't you have a scroll?" the men asked him. But he was speechless. The king commanded 2 Shining Ones to go out, tie Ignorance up, and take him away. So they bound him hand and foot and carried him through the air to a door that I saw in the side of the mountain, and they put him in there. Then I realized that there was a way to hell even at the gate of heaven. So I awoke, and behold, it was a dream.